Hi there, this is a review of the Pythagorean theorem. If you can complete the questions on this page, then you should have no problem with the rest of the workbook. All right, so the first one says, describe each triangle with at least 2 words from the list on the right. So this first one, I guess I should say that and make sure I add those to the original ones. First of all, those little tickies mean that those sides are the same length now. This single tick and this single tick aren't related. So now that you know that those all 3 sides are the same, you could call this an equiangular, equilateral, okay, so equilateral is all 3 sides the same. And then there's that cool math or geometry rule that the biggest side is opposite the biggest angle. So if all the sides are the same, all the angles are the same. And we can also use a third word, which is acute, because all the angles are under 60 degrees. Or sorry, okay, all the angles are 60 degrees. They're also under 90. Now this one, you can see this angle here is obtuse over 90. So this one is obtuse. And because all the 3 sides are a different length, it's scaling. And the last one, I added the little thing in the corner so you know it's a right triangle. 90-degree triangle. And with 2 sides being the same, it's isosceles. And if you have an isosceles triangle, the 2 base angles, so this angle and this angle, are going to be the same. And in fact, if it's a 90-degree triangle, you know those are both 45 because all the angles in a triangle add up to 180. All right, Pythagorean's theorem. Because this is the first video in the series, you might be used to c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. I don't use that one. I just make my own substitutions. Hypotenuse squared is side squared plus side squared. And I like this question specifically because I wanted to make sure that when using Pythagorean's theorem, this and this, you can't use. Pythagorean's theorem only refers to the 2 sides. So we're looking for our hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the longest side. Hypotenuse squared is 25 squared plus 40 squared. And if you put the 40 first and then the 25, it really doesn't matter. Hypotenuse squared, 25, x squared should be 625, plus 3 should be 1600. $22.25. And to get rid of that squared there, we need to take a square root here and a square root here. So and square root. Oh, I don't know what my calculator just did there. There's my normal square root, 2225. Hypotenuse is 47.169. Let's see. Those are whole numbers, so 47. And it had feet, so we'll put feet there. So I generally just write it off my calculator and I add, a bunch of digits, 3, 2, 3, whatever I feel like that day. And then I take one last step and I round it. You certainly can completely skip that step and just write that one. All right, last one here. I have to add that in the corner so we know it's a right triangle. But it's the sheet on Pythagorean's theorem, so hypotenuse squared. Oh, back to this question, sorry. This is a reasonable answer because your hypotenuse is always the longest side. So if you've got 25 and 40, this one has to be bigger than 40 and 47. All right, now we got to be careful here because we're actually given our hypotenuse. So the 15 goes here. So 15 squared is 225 minus 100 plus side squared, oopsies, equals 100 plus side squared. Getting ahead of myself. Now I need to isolate this. I'm going to subtract 100, subtract 100. 125 is equal to side squared. And again, we need to square root at the end. Second, I might calculate like that. 125. 11.180 each side. I'm sure 11, yeah, 11. This one didn't have any units on it, so I am not going to worry about units. And because it's a side of the triangle, it needs to be smaller than my hypotenuse. And ta-da! That is Pythagorean's theorem. And some important words for triangles. These ones are cool because if you know you have an isosceles triangle, it makes life easy because if you know one corner, you're going to know the other one all the time. This one I like because the moment you see it's equilateral, then you have three angles that are the same. And in fact, if there's 180 degrees in every triangle, divide that by 3, those are all going to be 60 angles. And that's it.